I'm Rachel, 34, and I've been married to Daniel for 7 years. On paper, it looks solid. No scandals, no screaming matches. But behind closed doors, the silence between us has grown louder than any argument ever could. Daniel works long hours and often travels for business, leaving me alone in a house that feels colder and more unfamiliar with each passing trip. I tried to fill the void with chores, books, cooking, anything to distract from the sense that I was disappearing inside my own life. One evening, with Daniel away on yet another week-long trip, I was cleaning the kitchen when I heard a knock on the door. It startled me, not just because of the quiet I'd grown used to, but because knocks rarely came anymore. Standing there was Ethan, our new neighbor. 31, single, easy on the eyes, but even easier to talk to. He was holding a toolbox and told me he'd noticed my porch light flickering the night before, offering to take a look. I hesitated, not because I feared him, but because I wasn't used to someone noticing the little things about me or my life anymore. Daniel hadn't seen the light flickering. Daniel hadn't seen me in a long time, so I let Ethan in. He fixed the light quickly, chatting casually as he worked, but what struck me wasn't his skill. It was the way he listened. Really listened. Every word I said, every laugh, every pause. It was like he was seeing a version of me I'd forgotten existed. When he finished, I offered him a glass of iced tea, and we sat in the kitchen as a storm began to roll in. Thunder growled in the distance, and rain started to tap against the windows like it was knocking too. We talked for over an hour about the neighborhood, about his move, about my early, clumsy days with Daniel. I laughed in a way I hadn't in months, maybe years. And then, just like the weather outside, something shifted. The air grew thicker. His eyes found mine and lingered too long. "I should probably head out before it gets worse," he said, but he didn't move. Neither did I. I should have broken the moment, looked away, changed the subject, but I didn't. "You don't have to rush," I said softly, and with those 5 words, something unspoken passed between us. He stayed. The conversation continued, but now it danced dangerously close to a line I didn't fully admit I was near. When his hand brushed mine, reaching for his glass, a wave of warmth rushed through me and I didn't pull away. I couldn't. We didn't kiss. We didn't do anything that could be put into an affair column on a legal document. But we crossed something else, an emotional threshold, a line far more fragile and just as damning. Then he said it. "I find you beautiful." And even though every part of me screamed this was wrong, I whispered back, "This can't happen." He nodded slowly. "I know," he said, "but it doesn't change what I feel right now." When he finally stood and left, hours after he arrived, I closed the door behind him and leaned against it with trembling hands, heart racing, knowing I had come dangerously close to something I couldn't undo. In the days that followed, I avoided him. When I saw him outside, our eyes would meet for a heartbeat too long, and my stomach would twist. Our conversations, if they happened at all, were short and careful, but the pull between us never left. Then Daniel returned, oblivious. He kissed me out of routine, asked about the bills, complained about airport food, and slipped right back into his rhythm like nothing had changed. And maybe for him, nothing had. But for me, everything had. Sitting across from him at dinner, I realized he had no idea how close I had come to betraying him. Though maybe, in my heart, I already had. Because infidelity isn't always a kiss or a bed. Sometimes it's the silence you share with someone who sees you when no one else does. It's the secrets you keep in your chest, the longing you bury behind polite smiles. That night with Ethan reminded me how lonely a marriage can become before it even breaks, and how fragile loyalty really is when you feel invisible. To this day, I remember the flicker of that porch light, the storm outside, and the way Ethan looked at me like I was someone worth noticing. And sometimes, Late at night, when the house is quiet again, I still ask myself the question I never answered. If Ethan hadn't walked out that door, would I have let him stay?